deseándote, toda la noche imaginándote, por el cuello besándote y por la mano agarrándote, que conmigo tú te vas a hacer algo más que no puedas olvidar. Conmigo hacer sentir lo que no has sentido con alguien más. Conmigo tú te vas a hacer algo más que no puedas olvidar. Conmigo vas a sentirte mejor. Baila, 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 ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, 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 tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Baila, 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 ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, 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 tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Ozuna, Luyan, Mambo King, Hydro, Johnny. Y baila, 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 ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, 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 tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Baila, 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 ponle música pa' que esto no pare. Baila, 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 tengo que besarte antes que se acabe. Ella casi ni sale, la traición no el amor. Tiene par de amistades, pero no quiere relación. Donde va sobresale, en sus ojos se ve la ilusión. Pero llamó a su amiga que se olvide que esta es su canción.
Vamos ni bye, 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 yeah. Todos están pendientes a ti, pero tú puesta pa' mí, haciendo que me odien más, porque todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que no te dejas llevar de cualquiera, y todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que hoy yo te voy a buscar. Yeah, yeah. Dile que tú eres mía, mía, tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía. Yeah, dile que tú eres mía, mía, tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bebé, yo soy fan de tu caminar. Te doy todo lo mío hasta mi respirar. Contigo veo todo como en espiral. Quiero tirarnos fotos y que se hagan mirar. Tus ojos me concentran como moderar. Contigo me sube el overall. Te toco y hasta el mundo deja de llegar. A nosotros ni la muerte nos va a separar. Bebé, yo soy tuyo nada más. Dile que conmigo te vas. Que dejen de tirarte. Que a ti nadie va a tocar. Dile que tú eres mía, mía. Tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía. Yeah, dile que tú eres mía, mía. Tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía. Yo soy tu Romeo pero no santo. A tu bobo con la for y los espanto. Muchas me quieren desde que yo canto, pero yo soy tuyo nada más. Yo soy tu Romeo pero no santo. A tu bobo con la for y los espanto. Muchas me quieren desde que yo canto, pero yo soy tuyo nada más. Dile que tú eres mía desde la high. El yerno favorito de tu mai. El caco que tenía todas las Jordan y las Nike. Dile a tu bobo que dejen de darte like. Quiero esta noche entera para recordar los tiempos en la escalera. Dile que yo no soy cualquiera. Yo soy tu primero, tú eres mi primera. Ya, todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que no te dejas llevar de cualquiera. Y todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que hoy yo te voy a buscar. Yeah, yeah. Dile que tú eres mía, mía. Tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía. Dile que tú eres mía, mía. Tú sabes que eres mía, mía. Tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía.
yo no lo puedo evitar. Cuando Juanita y Chan Chan en el mar servían arena, como sacudí el jibe a Chan. Limpia el camino de paz, y yo me quiero sentar en aquel tronco que veo y así no puedo llegar.
Hello, everyone. Hello, yeah. Woo. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Max Rydell, and I'm a field organizer with the Michigan Democratic Party's One Campaign. We are here to do everything in our abilities to help elect Democratic candidates up and down the ballot, and especially to make sure that we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in November. So you may be asking yourself, where's Doug? What's this guy doing up here? I'm just here to give you a small part of my story and explain why it's so important to engage in this year's election. Why it's so important to help Democrats in any way I can, big or small, to prevent and reject anti-democratic ideologies from making it into local, state, and federal government. As a child, I was lucky enough to have a deeply Republican uncle who loved nothing more than to sit and explain to me why I should never vote for a Democrat in my life. So naturally, by the time I got into college, I was a full-fledged Democrat. Like many of you, I was thunderstruck by the election of Donald Trump in 2016. I was terrified by his rhetoric and horrified by his policies, which ultimately culminated with the events at our Capitol on January 6, 2021. I found it very painful to watch the Republican Party give up all its principles to become a vehicle for Trump and MAGA radicals. During those Trump years, I yearned for the return of a leader with integrity, bullies on the world stage, a leader who cares about all Americans, not just those most loyal to them. And I am proud to stand before you and say that Kamala Harris is that leader. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz embody integrity. They embody character, and they are the best people for the job. Every day, I'm inspired by the Vice President's commitment to honesty, sincerity to the American people. The Democratic Party is the party of democracy. The Democratic Party is the party of integrity, and I believe Kamala Harris is the right choice for President of the United States of America. So now I'm asking all of you to please join with the One Campaign and please get involved in this election. We offer canvassing, phone banking, text banking, and most frequent volunteer training sessions. Even just keeping your friends and family informed can make a huge difference come November. So this Saturday and Sunday, we're having a huge weekend of action, and we need your help to talk to as many neighbors in your community as possible about why they should vote for Kamala Harris and Democrat teammates so we can get you signed up. I truly hope you come on board, as we now only have 67 days to do the work necessary to win in November. Yeah. So again, thank you all so much for being here today. And now, please join me in giving a warm welcome to State Representative Phil Skaggs.
Well,
Hello, West Michigan. How you guys doing? Are you fired up? You say ready to go. Are you fired up? Ready to go. Are you fired up? Ready to go. Are you fired up? Ready to go. All right, now as much as I'd just like to lead chants for the next 5 minutes, I think I'll get it. Hi, everyone. I'm State Representative Phil Skaggs. I'm the representative for House District 80, which you're standing or sitting in right now in beautiful Kentwood, Michigan. Thanks. Give it up for Kentwood. So just want to also acknowledge Max and everyone that's in this room with the One campaign. It's so vitally important, the work that these people do. Come and help them out. We can cheer and whoop it up as much as we want, but if we're not out on doors, if we're not on the phones, if we're not on social media reaching out to our neighbors, we're just in our bubble. We need to get out there. We need to deliver West Michigan. We need to deliver Michigan for Kamala Harris. So I'm excited, we're excited to be here today to welcome the second gentleman, soon to be the first gentleman of the United States of America, Doug Emhoff, to Grand Rapids today. We all know how much is at stake in this election. We all know. Our democracy, our public education, the future of our planet, the freedom of women to make their own decisions about their own health care choices. It's all on the line in this election, just days, weeks away from voting. Now, it's interesting to me, Donald Trump is down the road, and he's going to be talking a big game about how wonderful the economy was 4 years ago. Because he wants us to forget what the economy was like 4 years ago because he failed at the economy. But we remember, we know the differences between the records and the vision for these two candidates could not be more stark. Donald Trump was the worst jobs president in modern American history. That's just facts. He left our economy in shambles with record high unemployment. Trump failed to help struggling families and small businesses recover from the pandemic. Heck, Trump is in Michigan today, bad-mouthing advanced manufacturing, bad-mouthing good-paying jobs, good-paying union jobs. When Michigan and America needed a president to lead us through the tough times, through the pandemic, through the recession, Donald Trump failed us. And when we voted him out of office, he had a mob storm the Capitol to overturn an election. And that's dangerous. Now, I'll put Vice President Harris's record against Donald Trump's any day of the week. Together with President Joe Biden, she helped create nearly 15 million jobs in America. That includes 415,000 jobs right here in Michigan. So let's talk a little bit about what the Biden-Harris administration did to clean up Donald Trump's mess. She helped pass historic investments in our infrastructure, including millions of dollars in critical projects and good-paying jobs here in West Michigan, in Kentwood, in Grand Rapids, in Walker, Wyoming, Plainfield, all around. She cast the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which brought billions of dollars for manufacturing and for clean energy across this state. She took on Big Pharma and lowered the cost of prescription drugs. Over and over again, General. She cast the tie break again We all know we are on a knife's edge here in this country. Tie break again to pass the child tax credit, which brought nearly half of the children living in poverty out of poverty. And then the Republicans took over the House, and they killed the child tax credit, and they sent children into poverty. This is who we're dealing with. So Kamala Harris is going to work to restore the tax credit for working families and expand the tax credit for working families. But she needs our help. She needs West Michigan's help. She needs us to send Hillary Scholten back to Congress with a majority, give Hakeem Jeffries the gavel, and get stuff done. But of course, Kamala Harris knows there's more work to be done to bring down the cost for families, to grow jobs. In Kentwood, in Grand Rapids with State Representative Christian Grant. Give it up for Christian. In Wyoming with State Representative John Fitzgerald. In Plainfield with County Commissioner Steve Wooden, who's going to be our next. And in Walker, where Carol Glanville can't be with us today, but I could guarantee you we should also clap for her. That's why Kamala Harris is running to cut taxes for middle-class families, lower costs for housing. Give it up, Steve Wooden. I know you're back there. And continue to bring down the cost of essential medications and health care even further. Kamala Harris is leading us into the future, and we are not going back. Going back. We're not 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 going back. So, Vice President Harris, sorry, I messed up the first time. So this fall, the choice could not be clearer. Vice President Harris was raised by a working mom, a working immigrant mom, a working mom of color in a middle-class family. Kamala Harris understands the challenges of working families and what we face. And she has a plan to make our life better, to lower the cost of living. As Governor Gretchen Whitmer said in Chicago, which was a lot of fun, hope you saw it, Kamala Harris has lived a life like ours. She knows us, she gets us, she sees us, she is us. She didn't live in some penthouse. She wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She worked hard, and she understands that Americans want a leader who's going to work hard for them. So I'm thrilled to be supporting Kamala Harris for president. Boy, am I thrilled. And I'm thrilled that we have her husband, her partner, with us here today, second gentleman, Doug Emhoff. So welcome, thank you, thanks for coming. Now I'm going to turn it over to my good friend and colleague, Michelle McLeod.
Good morning, everyone. And welcome to this awesome event. So just gonna put it out there right now. This is not my comfy space talking in front of people, but I'm gonna do my best. So I'm Michelle McLeod. I am a county commissioner representing District 13, which you all are sitting in right now. So welcome to my space. I'm so grateful to be here with you all today to welcome our second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, to the greater Grand Rapids area, and specifically, once again, the city of Kentwood. There are so many reasons that I'm proudly standing behind the Harris Waltz ticket this November. And one big one is all the work they've done to bring our economy roaring back after Donald Trump oversaw the loss of millions of jobs and left our nation on the brink of a recession. Under the Biden-Harris administration, Michigan has gained over 415,000 jobs, as my colleague, Rep. Skaggs, already mentioned. And we've seen a resurgence in the manufacturing jobs in our state. Small businesses are flourishing. Michigan has seen over 450,000 new business applications under the Biden-Harris administration. And the rate of Black business ownership nationwide has more than doubled. And to add on top of that, Latino business ownership is also way up. These aren't just numbers. These are real people and our real communities benefiting from the work of the Biden-Harris administration. Millions of seniors across our state are seeing the prices they pay for insulin and prescription drugs plummet, thanks to the historic legislation Vice President Harris that brought Big Pharma to the negotiating table. New roads, bridges, investments in broadband, internet, and affordable housing developments are being built right here in West Michigan. In Kent County even, we are laser focused on all of these issues. The county commission just passed some legislation, allocated some funding specifically for affordable housing fund, and we allocated just under $60 million to address affordable housing in our county. None of this is an accident. It's thanks to President Biden and Vice President Harris, soon to be President Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a champion for middle-class families, and she will deliver for Americans who are looking for a new way forward and a future where all families have a real opportunity to get ahead. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are two people who know what it means to grow up middle class and who understand the values of working people and the needs of communities like ours. The communities right here in West Michigan, like Kentwood, Wyoming, Granville, the city of Grand Rapids, we are a resettlement community, and we take that to heart. We do not push away immigration. We do not push away those that are seeking a better future, and so we are supportive of all the things they are doing. We count on them to fight for us, and that's why we need to fight for Vice President Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to win this November. We've heard many times that the road to victory runs through Michigan, and I'm here to tell you that it does. We have just over 2 months to work our hearts out and do everything we can to send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House. So let's get it done. Thank you so much for being here today with us, and the rest of the program will begin shortly.
You're shining, you're shining.
Everybody come on, everybody come on now. Everybody.
I'm stuck to the dance floor with the whole team. With the whole team. I'm stuck to the dance floor with the whole team. With the whole team. You give me what you asked for, giving you the whole shit. I'ma give you the whole shit. I'm stuck to the dance floor with the whole team. With the whole team. I say yeah. Oh yeah. 'Cause you do, I'ma do too.
When I move my body just like this, I don't know why, but I feel like freedom. I hear a song that takes me back, and I let go with so much freedom. I'm gonna get it, 'cause it's my freedom.
Good for you, I guess you moved on really easily. You found a new girl and it only took a couple weeks. Remember when you said that you wanted to give me the world? And good for you, I guess that you've been working on yourself. I guess the therapist I found for you, she really helped. Now you can be a better man for your brand new girl. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you ever cared to ask. Good for you, you're doing great out there without me, baby. Gotta wish that I could do that. I lost my mind, I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. But you're so unaffected, I really don't get it. I guess good for you. Good for you, I guess you're getting everything you want. You bought a new car and your career's really taking off. It's like we never even happened, baby. Tell me what is up with that? And good for you, it's like you never even met me. Remember when you swore to God I was the only person who ever got you? Well, screw that and screw you. You will never have to hurt the way you know that I do. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you ever cared to ask. Good for you, you're doing great out there without me, baby. Gotta wish that I could do that. I lost my mind, I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. But you're so unaffected, I really don't get it. I guess good for you. Maybe I'm too emotional, but your apathy's like a wounded soul. Maybe I'm too emotional, or maybe you never cared at all. Maybe I'm too emotional, your apathy is like a wounded soul. Maybe I'm too emotional, or maybe you never cared at all. You look happy and healthy, not me, if you ever cared to ask. Good for you, you're doing great out there without me, baby. Like a damn sociopath, I've lost my mind, I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. But you're so unaffected, I really don't get it, but I guess good for you. Well, good for you, I guess you moved on really easily. Driving on the right side road, he says I'm pretty, wearing his clothes, and he's got hands that make hell seem cold. Feet on the dashboard, he's like a poem I wish I wrote.
everybody. Hi, my name's AJ Bailey. I am actually the regional organizing director, and I am totally not an introvert right now. So let's give our hands together for the Honorable Congresswoman Hillary Scholten, everybody.
Good morning, West Michigan. It is a new day in West Michigan, isn't it? We are so excited to be here today with some very special guests. I am so excited to welcome the second gentleman of the United States of America right here to West Michigan. This is his very first political stop after the DNC. Do you know where Vice President Harris and Governor Walz came after they announced Walz as the vice presidential candidate? Michigan, right? They know that this is not flyover country. Michigan is going to be pivotal in this election. I am so honored that Jesse and I have had the chance to get to know the second gentleman a little bit over the course of my first term in office. They've had us to their home. We've gotten to know them at events around DC, and I could not be more excited to think about their leadership in the White House, leading with competence and compassion. We also know a thing or two about what it takes to support leading ladies here in Michigan. We know behind every strong woman there is a strong man, and there comes the second gentleman, so we're happy to have him here. We are also so excited to have the Honorable Gina Raimundo here with us. Folks, you've heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. This election is a choice between two very different visions for America and two very different records for how to get there. Donald Trump promised to create jobs and grow our economy, but he failed West Michiganders every chance he got. In just 1 year, Trump oversaw the loss of 3,000 auto jobs in Michigan. That's not even counting the loss of jobs that those other jobs impacted. In total, 280,000 Michiganders were robbed of jobs, including over 31,000 manufacturing jobs. Those are the facts. House Democrats, President Biden and Vice President Harris, on the other hand, have taken historic action to bring manufacturing jobs back home. Adding nearly 1 million manufacturing jobs nationwide and 420,000 good-paying jobs right here at home in Michigan. No matter what lies he tells, Trump has incentivized companies to send good-paying union jobs overseas. We won't stand for it. As if he hasn't done enough to hurt working families, massive tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations that added billions to the federal deficit. I will tell you, as a frugal Dutch mom, I take this personally. And make no mistake, Donald Trump's agenda for his second term would devastate the economy even more, raising costs on middle-class Michiganders, including right here in Michigan, in West Michigan. But unlike Donald Trump, Vice President Harris has a different vision for our country and a much different lived experience. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. She was raised by a working mom in a middle-class family. She understands what it's like to work to get by, working at McDonald's growing up while he never had to work a day in his life. She believes in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to what? Get ahead. She spent her career fighting for working people, from Attorney General to United States Senator to Vice President. Cut taxes for the middle class, reduce grocery costs, and take on corporate price gouging. Bring down healthcare costs and lower the cost of owning and renting a home. Can I get an amen? Thanks to Vice President Harris's leadership, we've seen historic investment in clean energy and manufacturing too, and we are just getting started. West Michigan, the choice this November is clear. Trump's economic record can be summed up in one word: failure. The chaos sown by Trump and extreme MAGA Republicans has consequences. We know what that's like. We've seen that take shape here in West Michigan, right here in Ottawa County, where extreme MAGA Republicans have taken over the county commission, wreaking chaos and devastation and costing taxpayers millions of dollars. No more. We won't let it stand. West Michigan, in November, we must and we will reject Donald Trump and elect Kamala Harris as our next president. And with the support of a Democratic House delivered by us truly by holding Michigan's 3rd congressional district, we can ensure that her economic policies are passed into law for the benefit of all, including West Michigan families and workers. Let's get her elected. Thank you so much. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the stage the Honorable Gina Raimundo.
Turn up the music, turn down the lights. I got a feeling I'm gonna be alright. Okay, alright. It's about damn time. Turn up the music.
I don't know. I think I'm good. Thank you. Hello, Michigan. Hello, hello, hello. So I want to thank you for a warm welcome back. You need to know I have a lot of love in my heart for Michiganders, because for 24 years I've been married to one from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, just down the road, and I have spent a huge amount of time in your beautiful state, and I just love it. Also love your governor, who's a good friend of mine. And it's just, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. So why am I here? You all ready to get Kamala Harris elected? I am. I really am. Because last week I was in Chicago, and what we saw on that stage were two leaders, Vice President Harris, another friend of mine, Governor Walz, who are ready to fight for a brighter future for America. And, you know, one of the reasons I love both of them is they're a lot like you and me. They're two middle-class kids whose values are rooted in the promise of America. They're two people who have spent their career as public servants fighting for working families and middle-class families. Vice President Harris, like a lot of people here, she was raised in a middle-class neighborhood by a working mom who instilled values of hard work in her. She worked shifts at McDonald's. How many people here worked in, service and fast food to get through college? And one of the reasons I admire her so much as a public servant myself, former governor myself, she was called to public service because she wanted to fight for people without a voice. She wanted to stick up for people who needed an advocate. And she did that, and she did that, and she's doing that, and she will do that as your president. And Governor Tim Walz, we served as governors together, he's a lifelong champion for the middle class. A teacher, a coach, a retired Army National Guard. And by the way, you don't have to believe me just because he's my friend and we served as governors together. Just look at what he did. Look at what he did. He stuck up for a woman's right to choose, established paid leave in his state, and helped businesses to recover from the pandemic. Yes. So why am I here? I was the governor of my state. I was the first Democrat elected in more than 20 years. There were Republican governors for more than 20 years. And you know what they did to the economy? Ran it into the ground. When I ran, we had the highest unemployment rate in the country. That's what Republican economic strategies do for regular working people. You know what Kamala Harris believes in? She is pro-business, pro-small business, and pro-worker. Because she knows you can be both at the same time. She knows, a lot of you guys here own small businesses. You just talked to Chris, you took the risk that it takes to start a small business. Kamala Harris knows that. She honors that, and she supports that. She supports and knows the risks you take, and that's why she wants to work with and for small businesses and workers. You don't have to choose. You can be good for your employees and good for business. And she's deeply committed to building an opportunity economy that rewards ambition. It rewards hard work. That's American. Hard work ought to help you get ahead. But the reality is, way too many Americans are working day and night and they're barely getting by, right? It's a fact. Working day and night, full-time, more than full-time, and scraping by. So the Harris plan isn't to cut taxes on the rich, because that's the last thing they need. It's to cut taxes for middle-class working people. She wants to expand the child tax credit. She will expand the earned income tax credit to make work pay. She's going to fight to lower grocery costs. It's too damn expensive. She knows that, with the first ever federal ban on price gouging for food and groceries. She knows we need more housing and more affordable housing. She has a plan to build 3 million new homes to address the housing supply shortage and bring down the cost of mortgages and rents. And if you spend 1 minute talking to her, 30 seconds, she will tell you she is running to make a defining goal of her presidency building up the middle class. That's you. That's the people of Michigan. That is the hardworking people of Michigan, small business owners of Michigan. And by the way, she'll have a running start, because over the last 4 years, she worked with the president to create 16 million jobs, a boom of small businesses. Here in Michigan, over 400,000 jobs have been created, record high number of applications to start new businesses. With the president to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law, the Inflation Reduction Act, relief for student loans, and expanded the Affordable Care Act, so hundreds of thousands of Michiganders pay less for their health insurance. It's all goodness. It's all goodness. But here's the deal, guys. Donald Trump doesn't want any of that. And that's real. All that progress, all the hope you feel in the hope, you feel that we have to stop Donald Trump, because he will take that progress away. Trump and Vance and the MAGA extremist vision, they don't want to fight for the middle class. They don't. They're very clear about that. They want to go back to a time before Social Security. Think about that. Income insecurity for our elders, for our parents and grandparents, before Medicare, before the Affordable Care Act covered tens of millions of Americans in need of health care, and just a little breathing room in your budget, not drowning, a little breathing room in your budget. And here's the thing, I'm not exaggerating. The threat is so real. Read it, read it. They are campaigning on this. They have a radical playbook to go back. Their Project 2025 is real. It is scary. It is a backwards agenda. And quite frankly, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. Trump's policy is a 20% sales tax, a tariff on all goods coming into America. Can you afford a 20% additional sales tax on everything you buy? I don't think so. So let's get behind the Harris-Walls vision for an American future. A vision where Americans can grasp their share of the American dream. A vision where child care and elder care is affordable. A vision for where the middle class is strong. That is the vision. That is the vision. That is why I am here. That is why I am choosing to work so hard. And here, so I'm going to end with this, guys. I'm going to end with this. Here's my ask of you. Turn your excitement into action. Do something. Do something. I love this. I love this. So we got less than 10 weeks to go, okay? Less than 10 weeks to go. You're fired up, you're excited, you feel it, you believe in the Harris-Walls ticket. Now you got to take that and do something. Sign up to volunteer. Talk to your family and friends. Make phone calls. Make your plan to vote. Help your friends and family make a plan to vote. Get out there, take action, and put Kamala Harris in the White House. You got it? I am so ready. I am so ready. So listen, it is now my unbelievable pleasure to introduce somebody to you, our host today, somebody who embraces the values we're fighting for, who put it all on the line to start a small business. Join me in welcoming our host for today's discussion, Chris Spalding. Chris, come on out.
So much amazing energy. I love it. I love filling this place that we love so much with all the positivity and this hope for a future that we can be super proud of. So good morning and welcome to what's kind of like a second home to me. I'm Chris. My husband Jason and I own Broadleaf and Vivant. We're proud to be a certified B Corporation and the world's first LEED certified microbrewery. So here in Grand Rapids, we care about the environment a lot, especially us brewers. We care about our neighbors and small businesses like ours who take care of our workers. To me, the Harris-Walls ticket represents a bright future focused on civility, as well as progress and opportunity. Vice President Harris is the only candidate on the ballot who is creating a future that works for everyday Americans. The Harris-Walls vision is one where middle-class families get ahead. She has a plan to bring down health care and grocery costs, bring the dream of home ownership back into reach for millions of Americans, and she's going to cut taxes for hardworking Michiganders. As a small business owner, it's important to me that we have thoughtful and inspiring leaders in the White House who have our backs and who have our workers' backs, because we know that when our team succeeds, that means we as small business owners succeed as well. Woo! Yeah. When we make historic and vital investments in clean energy, clean water, sustainability, we're not only protecting our climate, we're also creating new opportunities for generations to come. Kamala Harris will bring us into the future and invest in the middle class into all these great things. In November, when we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, we'll move closer to a future where every family has the opportunity and the tools they need to succeed. And we can be proud to talk with our children about what the leaders in the White House represent. Shout out to my kids, Oliver and Sienna, who are here today. I know they're excited about a different conversation as it relates to that. As the nation's first second gentleman, I'm shifting gears here, married to the first woman vice president, Mr. Emhoff, women in leadership positions. Woo! He is a champion for the American people, leading on issues including fighting hate and anti-Semitism, promoting gender equity, and access to justice. So, thank you so much again for being here, and it is my true honor to introduce our second gentleman, Doug Emhoff.
Where are the Doug signs? I mean, oh, okay. Hello, how's Grand Rapids? How's it going? And Chris, Jason, where are you? Thank you so much, and your family. Thank you for the painting. I'll bring that home to Kamala. She's going to love it. Thank you for that. Rep Skolton, thank you so much. You have an amazing rep here. Because I get to see her behind the scenes in D.C., and as great as she is here in your community, she's fantastic, even when there's not a bunch of people and cameras around. So this is how great she is. And to my good friend, I have to call you the Honorable, because she's here in her personal capacity to speak up for her friend, Kamala Harris. Gina, you're the best. You're the best. Thank you for all you do. We got to know each other really well during this administration, and she is such a fantastic leader. I heard your speech. I'm fired up to do even more. Do something. All right. Well, this is my first public event after that amazing convention, so I'm finally... The adrenaline is finally back down, but now I'm pumped up again, walking in here and just hearing all the Kamala cheers and all this. So great to be out here. And I've got two more states left today alone, and then another one tomorrow, because, you know, when the few times I get to see my wife, she says, get out there and we got to win this thing. Because she's just all about doing the work. It's all focus, it's all discipline. She's not getting too high because she knows we've got 68 days left. And I can kind of keep up with her watching, because I know she and Governor Walz were in Georgia yesterday and today doing the work. So she says hi, though, by the way. So I have been around a lot of high-profile people in my career. First, as a business person. And when some people enter public life, they change. Who is that? No, sorry. Wait, is that Kamala? Check in on me. She might. But some people change, and like, their families don't even recognize them anymore. Not Kamala Harris. The Kamala Harris you see running for president is the most, it's like the most version of her. It's the most authentic version of her. And you can ask anyone in our big, beautiful, blended family who you got to meet during the convention. That's who she is. She's the same person that we get to love as a family member that you all now seeing. And who is that person? She's joyful, which is a good thing. She's also tough, which is a good thing. And it's her empathy, it's her superpower. Her ability to understand what other people are going through, that is really her strength. And she's also someone who always steps up when she's needed. And now that the country, even the world, needed somebody to step into the void, step into the breach, Kamala Harris did that. And she did it in such an incredible way. And I mentioned this in my remarks, she's always been there for our family, always, through thick and thin. And now she's there for our country. And when the stakes are the highest, the expectations are highest, that's when she delivers in the biggest. Proud of her. So I knew of Kamala Harris before that infamous blind date with the phone call and it's Doug and all that. Completely true story, and yes, I did have to listen to that voicemail again. And I was a business lawyer, and she was someone to be reckoned with. Let me tell you something. So I knew exactly who she was. She was a force, and in a lot of ways, feared for her toughness and feared for her ability to ferret out wrongdoing and remediate that. So that is the Kamala Harris I first knew of. With her, I did. I'm glad I did. And just like I didn't have to explain to her who I was as a Jewish person. Like, she just knew. She knew who we were, what our traditions, what our values were. I also didn't have to explain to her, like, what I did for a living. I was a business lawyer, and she got it. She understands business. She knew what I did for a living. She knew what the clients were doing, and, you know, I didn't have to explain that to her because she knows what's going on with that, and she also knows that business is so important. It's in some ways the lifeblood of our community. To meet some of the folks backstage and the small business community that they're a part of, this place that we're right here. I mean, this is the heart and soul of our communities. It's the heart and soul of our country, and she knows that. And she. And as I think you heard her say too, she approaches everything through the prism of you. In her entire career, she has had one client and one client only, us, the people. And you heard her talk about her experience growing up and her good friend Wanda, who was being abused by her stepfather, and that led her on a path to become a prosecutor. And one of the roles of a prosecutor, yes, is to put very horrible people away that do very horrible things, but it's also to protect the community, because that's who she is. She's someone who's out there to help and protect us. So that's how she got into that. She believes in safety, safe communities. She also believes in justice, and that has been the hallmark of her career. But she understands that it's not just enough to believe in these things as concepts, you know, high in the sky concepts of justice and fairness. She's someone who knows it's got to be real. And she understands that she's got to use common sense. She's got to be pragmatic to solve these problems and to use the skill she has as a, I'm sorry, there's a fly. Use the skill she has as a first-rate trial lawyer and problem solver to solve these problems that face our country and face our world. That's how she comes at things. She talked about some of her accomplishments as a prosecutor. Again, this was to put very bad people away who did very horrible things, but it was also to give an opportunity to those who did not commit violent crimes, people who needed a way back into our communities and have a chance to succeed and thrive, again, for nonviolent offenders. And she had a program called Back on Track, and it worked. And one of the reasons for that was for the economy, because if folks had a chance to get back into the communities, they're going to have jobs, they're going to pay taxes, they're going to help you grow your businesses, and that was one of the reasons for doing that. So that's a part of her pragmatic leadership, even when she was back in her prosecutor days. I got to know her as a citizen of California when she was our Attorney General, and she told the story about how she took on the big banks during the mortgage crisis, and she didn't do it only to get from $4 billion to $20 billion, although that was pretty amazing, and she held her ground. But for her, she was really thinking about the families involved. She was thinking about her own mother, who saved for years and years and years to finally be able to buy a home. And she's thinking about just folks like that who have that home and have that lawn that they love and the garden, and they take such pride of ownership that this is something that they work so hard for, big part of the community. And so that is also what drove her in that work, to make sure that there was dignity and that there was fairness, and it wasn't just about getting that money, which again helped mitigate a very horrible situation, but it was also to get people back in those homes that they love and make sure that they could still experience that joy of home ownership and that lawn and that sense of community and belonging that we all have. Because again, it's that actually going on with people, and she turns that into action and policy. So that's Kamala Harris. So this election could not be more clear. I've heard the other speakers. But it's really about who sees and understands voters, who gets it. And it's going to be won by the candidate who will actually make all of our lives better, not just the lives of a select few, right? And it's also going to it's going to represent what most of us want. Most of us in this country want what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are talking about. Very few people want what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are actually talking about. And again, look at Project 2025, listen to the words that they're saying. This is not anything that most people want. And don't be distracted by all the nonsense and the name calling and all the ridiculous BS, as I call it. Listen to what they're actually saying. Do you want to live in a world dictated by Project 2025 and the Dobbs decision? Well, that's where it would be heading. We don't want that. We want to have a great economy that focuses on all of us. We want to have clean air to breathe. We want less weapons of war on our streets that are killing young people in our schools. It's outrageous. And that's the world that we want, of freedom, a world that's forward-looking, not that's looking backwards. So that's why they are running. That's why they are doing as well as they are, because people are, it's resonating with not just Democrats. This message is resonating with all Americans. And as she said, and as Governor Walz has said, they will be president and vice president for each and every one of us, regardless of what community you're in. Now, being president means you've got to focus on the economy, which is one of the things we're going to talk about today. As I mentioned, Kamala Harris, she's pro-capitalism, pro-business, pro-growth, and pro-innovation. She wants everyone to succeed in this economy. And as Ken Chenault said at the Democratic Convention, we need a president who understands that government has to work in partnership with the business community and that a market-based economy needs a strong government. We got to do it together. And we're seeing this public-private partnership work right here in Michigan. Michigan ranks #1 in the country for investments from the Inflation Reduction Act. That's really awesome. This state has seen more than $26 billion in new federal investments, supporting over 21,000 good-paying jobs. So this is how it's supposed to work. Supporting entrepreneurs, helping manufacturers expand, growing the pie, and investing in the middle class. This is all important, and this is everything that she's talking about. But just as in business, these goals are only practical if they come with trust and character. In this election, and on those measures, there is no contest. Trust and character on one side, Kamala and Tim, not so much on the other. Her plan is to create an opportunity economy, right? Where everyone has an opportunity to succeed and compete. You can have a chance to compete and succeed in this opportunity economy, where she's fighting for everyday Americans and middle-class families, because as was mentioned, that's who she is. That's the background that she came from. Now, in addition, we have to protect very core things that will be under attack. It's right there in Project 2025, such as protecting Social Security, protecting Medicare, and instead of cutting taxes for his billionaire buddies and the largest corporations, we've got to cut taxes for the rest of us, for the middle class. Lower grocery costs and other things, which everyone depends on, price of prescription drugs, and we've got to relieve medical debt. And this is all part of the plan. Now, it's all got to be fair. You know, see my earlier comments and her work as Attorney General and throughout. If it's not fair, there has to be consequence. So if opportunistic companies take advantage of a crisis to rip off customers, she's going to find them and she's going to stop it. That's what she's talking about. And that's what she's always done. Again, this is not ideological. If somebody's ripping us off, it's got to stop, and she's going to stop them. So that is part of her plan as well. It's not ideological, it's practical. Fairness is good for the economy. When she took on the big banks, it was because people were getting ripped off, plain and simple, losing their homes. And there needed to be a solution for that. When veterans and others were getting taken advantage of by for-profit college, she shut them down, plain and simple, because they were not providing an education. People who wanted to get ahead in life. I mean, that's what she did. So again, this common sense, see problem, solve. Kamala Harris. Hey, that's a pretty good slogan. And again, stark contrast to the other side. What is it? Cause problems. Don't solve problems. And what some of the things they're talking about is it's just sick, like monitoring pregnancies and things like that. It is so far beyond the pale. Again, read what they're talking about. Listen, you know, Donald Trump, I want to punish women. I want to appoint justices that will overturn Roe v. Wade. He did it. I don't care what he's trying to say now and get out of it. He did it. And J.D. Vance, no exceptions, even for rape or incest. These are the people that we're talking about here. That's who they are. They can't get out of it. That's what they're trying to do. Be more stark. Kamala Harris on the world stage. She's been vice president for almost 4 years. She already is a world leader. And let me tell you something, the seriousness, the toughness, the way that she was feared as Attorney General because she got stuff done and took care of major problems. Well, this is Kamala Harris on the world stage as well. Again, our family, we love her so much, and you see the smile and the joy, and yes, the laugh, which I love. But joyful warrior. The joyful part, but she is a warrior. As tough as they... And I love, they kept playing those clips at the convention of her taking on the witnesses in the Senate Judiciary Committee. I mean, that's Kamala Harris. She never runs from a fight, and she knows the best way to deal with the cowards that she's dealing with is just to take them head on. Take them head on, because she knows cowards are weak, and Kamala Harris can smell weakness. She will always protect America, maintain the most lethal fighting force in the world, honor our commitments to our troops and our veterans and our allies. She has spent 4 years as vice president, as I mentioned. A lot of that time, you're in the Oval Office with the president. Very important decisions. You're in the Situation Room dealing with lots of problems and world issues. She's been there for these 4 years and literally on the world stage over 20 plus times, traveling the world, making sure that America's interests are protected out there. Everywhere she goes, she meets with our active duty troops and makes sure that they know that we care about them each and every day. She will always support and honor our veterans every minute as president. And she picked a veteran as her vice presidential candidate. She's ready to do this job. She is ready to be our leader, not just here domestically, but on the world stage. And she is ready. She'll be ready on day one when you elect her as our next president. This last month or so has been kind of head spinning, but think about it. I got to represent our country. President Biden sent me as head of a presidential delegation to Paris for the Olympics. So I was there for the last 4 or 5 days. I got to see our Team USA win several gold medals. Men's basketball, women's soccer. And what did I hear there? USA, USA, USA. And I got back from Paris and regrouped and went, right to the convention. And there I am in Chicago. Thousands of people in the arena, and I'm sure millions around the country, around the world. And what did I hear? USA, USA. So you can say it. And that's, I've been to a few Democratic conventions. That's not normally the soundtrack of a Democratic convention. But it was this year, and it was this year because of Kamala Harris. Because she showed everyone there that it doesn't matter what party you are to love your country, to be a patriot, to put the interests of other citizens before your own interests, to actually take that oath of office and honor it. And that's what she does, and I think she does it, and it comes through, and it gets people fired up because we love our country. And that's why we're doing this, because we love our country. She's going to bring joy to this work, and she's going to bring toughness to this work. She's not going to let anything affect her. It's all focus and discipline, which is a superpower for the next 60 some odd days, which is the home stretch of this campaign. We haven't won anything yet, okay? So again, every time, the few times I get to talk to her, if I'm like, oh, there you're on TV, or did you see this? She's like, zip it. Get to work. Get out there and do everything you can to help us win. And I've been saying that's why I am out there. I'm crawling over shards of glass. I am knocking through every wall, every door. One, because I love her, but two, because I love my country. And we got to run like we're 10 points behind and keep going until we're 10 points ahead. We got to win, and we got to win big to prove to the country and prove to the world that there's a right way of doing things and a way of doing things that nobody wants. We got to win and win big, and that's what we're going to do. And as Michelle Obama said in her incredible speech, she did say do something, but she also said we need to vote in numbers that erase any doubt, because and overwhelm any effort to suppress us, because that's what they're going to do, unfortunately, because they can't win on the merits. So they got to do all this stuff, but we're not going to let them. We are not going to let them do that. So we've got a big old map now, right? We've got Michigan. You've got Wisconsin next door. You've got Pennsylvania nearby. You've got Georgia, where they are right now. We've got North Carolina, and you go back out west. We got Arizona, we got Nevada, and some have even said Florida. And that's why every vote counts. It's all important. And so when people say, well, what more can we do? Well, you're in Michigan, so you got to do a lot. So, I mean, you just got to keep knocking on those doors. You got to keep going to the offices. You got to keep doing everything you've been doing here to make sure that we win this state. We have to win this state. And when you feel good about here, well, then just go to Wisconsin. Like, go out there, too. And it's just make sure people are registered, because I know this sounds so obvious, but you know, we don't have Schoolhouse Rock anymore, so we got to make sure people know that to vote, you got to register, and the rules are going to be different in every state. So make sure when people say, what can I do? Like the most basic act of democracy is making sure people get registered and that they just go out and vote. You know, of course, we want them to vote for us, but participate in this beautiful democracy. So get everyone to register. There's lots of ways to do it. IWillVote.com has everything out there. You can go to the campaign website, but just make sure people get registered, and with kids going back to school, you know, make sure that they're registered, you know, in the right place so they can cast their vote as well. Come to a campaign office. Like, it is about it's just your friends, your neighbors, your community, and I've been to them all over the country, and you just walk in, there's coffee, there's donuts, there's music, there's signs, but it's your friends and neighbors on their phones calling other friends and neighbors to get them to participate in this democracy. So there's so many things that you can do, but most of all, you know, keep supporting us. Get the word out. You all have networks, and just make sure everyone understands the stakes. Could not be more stark. This is a truly, you know, the election of our history. I think she said it. It's the election of our lifetimes, but the election of our nation's lifetime. And so let's get out there and do it. We can do it with fun. We can do it with joy. But we've got to do it with toughness. And we've got to do it with resolve. So in other words, let's be like her, and let's just each day, win each day, day by day. And then on, this is the one thing where Tim Walz and I disagree, because he is literally saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's a pretty good Tim Walz. And I was like, I will sleep on November 6th. Because I actually want to enjoy this next so much. Let's do this. We are going to win this election.